Hi. Please ignore the smoke. It's herbal. Okay, how are y'all doing? Let's turn down the guy who's famous for doinking the chick from Friends. And hi. How y'all doing? All right, let's get started. Hey, Tough Cat. Good Lord, I think if I ever release a movie on opening weekend, it's going to be like, whoa, we grossed 3 million. Okay, how many times did Tough Cat see it? Oh, well, outside of that, you grossed $3. Think there would be a bank loan involved, something, maybe a heist. That would be the heist movie, I think. All right, so what are we doing today? We're making a pouch. Well, what can you use a pouch for? It's a pocket. You figure it out. I mean, come on, last time we made a bag. I am not trying to tell you what to do with your life. But yeah, don't get used to my voice. I've got a voice changer, and we're going to be playing with that. Pockets are always useful. And what we're doing is we're going to be covering the basic concept, and you can customize it into, whatever you happen to need or feel like doing. For our example, we're going to use my external hard drive. So we're going to be making a pocket to put the external hard drive in. You can do this bigger. I was originally going to do one on cam to do like a cover for a journal or a memory book, but and I started calculating how long that would take, and I don't want that to turn into a big, big, big thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it in steps. First step is to find out the measurements of what we're working with. Okay, and yes, this seems a bit uh, derivative, and that's not derivative. No, pedantic. That's the word, pedantic. Seems a bit pedantic, like I'm breaking things down into too far and making it seem childish. But we've got people who do not crochet, so shows for everybody. If you know how to do this, you can you can sit there. Anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some notes, but we're still not gonna count a lot. So we still get to be dumb. All right, so we just need the measurements that we're going to be doing. So this is going to be about 4.5 inches, about 3 1/4. Okay, and we're not looking very deep there. That's like less than an inch. So what we want is we want something a little bit bigger than our dimensions, because if we crocheted those exact dimensions, it would be a cover. So we want it to shoot out to the sides a little bit. And I'm not looking for a super tight fit, so I'm going to go ahead and estimate about a 1/2 inch in every direction. So a total of an inch on each side. So that'd be our actual working volume would be 5.5 inches by 4 1/4 inches. Ooh. What's that in metrics? Who knows? Who knows? Because I live in a winter's country. Oh, I'm sure someone would explain to me why the metric system's better, but all of their scientists are too busy giving back shit that they stole. Yeah. So let's go ahead and we got a color. We got a color. That's kind of nice. Like it. We're working with worsted yarn. Okay, that's my personal fave. That's what I do a lot of. And we want to go between 4 and 6 millimeter on our hook. And I wanted to use my 9 millimeter on this, just because that would, you know, be a little bit more fun. Okay, no, 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 no. We're not using the 9 millimeter today. We're using. I'm using a 6 millimeter. You can use anything between like 4 and 6 millimeter, and it'll work out great. You want it to be relatively tight, but I really like it when you use the bigger hook and it gets squishy and soft. So with our next project, I promise you, I'm gonna try to use my 9 millimeter. Um, but for today, we're using the six. You know, and that's fine too. Fine too. There's no song for that one. No song. I looked. I looked. I looked. I looked, and I knew that if I came in here and faced you with it, y'all would not be happy with that shit. But I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I am not scared of you motherfuckers. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out. We know how big we want it to be. We want the little pocket thing to be about 5.5 by 4.25 inches. So what information do we need? Yeah, I know the soundboard's working. I've got it like that. I'm like Tron and shit. I represent the users. Okay, everybody over 40 just really giggled a lot. All right, so the question that we have in logic is, well, how many stitches does it take to do that? And the answer is, know why? Because it matters about the yarn. It matters the yarn. I can't. I can't. It matters about the yarn, and it matters about the hook, and it matters about the way you're throwing it that day. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do what's called a gauge. So when you do a gauge, basically all you're doing is you're doing a test run of a known set that you can work out in your head real quick. That's mathematically pertinent and gives you a sample size of how big your stitches are going. So I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna make us up a little loop there to start off in. My hands are behind my avatar is what she's trying to say. Yeah. Happy? Happy now? Happy now? Everybody happy? Happy? Shut up. It was just my hands. Just my hands. It didn't do anyone any damage. Stop it. You know what's wrong? I need I need tacos or I'll explode. It happens to me sometimes. Okay. See, the sad part is I can't even be mad at her because I got pieces of tape right here to tell me where to be. So, and of course, I have the highly technical and engineering stance of, well, why is your head there and so big? Because it looks good there. Dull. Jeez. I am not scared of you motherfuckers. All right, so we're doing a gauge. We're doing a gauge, which is also something to do at the end of Pet Cemetery. Big ups to our Stephen King aficionados out there before he flees the country. Mitts off the Kinder, Stephen. We talked about this. All right, let's go. We are going to chain 11 total. We're going to do 10 stitches. Why are we doing 11 then? Because we need to start somewhere. So we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we do 1 to work from. or one to grow on, however you want to friggin' remember that. That's looking right decent. Okay, now this one, this one, this one, this one. We're not using a double stitch. I know, I know, I know. It affects me personally. I'm figuring out how to deal with it myself. So what we are going to do is we're going to do a half double on each row. So a half double, that's where you set up a double stitch, but instead of doing 2 stitches, you pull all 3 pieces through on the first one. It's like a premature ejaculation stitch. So how would you describe it? You can't. You can't. Wait till you hear when we get to Tuscan crochet and I start describing that shit as the girl hand job one. Yeah, it's nice. It's kind of fun. It's overly complicated, but eventually you just want to throw the whole thing aside and do it yourself. All right, now let's go. We're going to go ahead and crochet 10 of our stitches. Just like normal. I'm going to slide up. Put that bitch in there right decent. And you see we got our 3 pieces of fiber there. We're just going to wiggle through all of them. It only hurts the first time. After this, we have something to hold on to. There we go. Gonna pop that through right decent. And all the way through. Gonna set up that double crochet. Get it nice and decent. And then we're just gonna ignore it all and do it all now. And that is all it is to do a half double crochet. Not really counting them because I'll run out of stitches when I'm done with the gauge. There we go. I put it in your head is how I want. Okay. Oh, we are just churning through this. This actually doesn't take a whole long time. I'm not the fastest son of a bitch in the world. So coming up on the dismount, that'd be 9. All right. All right, so we've got a row of. You good? Okay. A little bit upset about that. It's a union thing. I'm why we can't have nice things. She can't be doing my job. All right, so once we get done with the gauge, we're gonna stretch it out a little bit. Okay. And then we're gonna interrogate this sumbitch. How big is you? I do not need to be exact. All right, so we are looking at about 3.5 inches for 10 stitches. So, debating on which way I want to go, I'm going to do the 5.5 on the side, so 3.5. I'm going to do some quick math here. Give me just a second. I don't know why I'm doing it that way. Okay. So I'm going to make this one a little bit loose. With our gauge being where it's at, I am going to go for 17. That's a weird number, but it's a weird size. If I was a cowardly man, then I'd just do 20. I'm going to do 17. But what gets really interesting is after we get our row, because you'll see why the number matters. This is so cool. You'll like this. Because if you've been playing along, we've been pretty straightforward so far. It's been pretty easy. But now we're going to throw some curves on it. We're going to pull a sneaky. Song always reminds me of my ex-wife. Mainly because she looks like Willie Nelson. All right, let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, the chain stitch. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, and 1 to grow on, or build on, depending on how you view it. All right, there we go. That's our chain stitch. We got all our pull 'em throughs done. I know we haven't thrown you the curve yet. You're waiting for the curve. You're waiting for that M. Night Shyamalan moment. We're getting to it. We're getting to it. All right, so doing those half crochets. I got to remember to do that more than I got to remember what number I'm on, because I almost always go for the double. I'm monitoring it, honey. I am a human being sitting in a chair. Plus, you don't understand. I was the turkey all along. Me. Yes. Yes. I don't have to be right to be righteous. That's what you need to know. See, I'm messing up my stitch now. You fucking got me all fucked up. Got me all fucked up. She get her own computer now. She just fucking shit up for everybody. She gonna kill me. She's half Irish and half Puerto Rican, so I'm either gonna get poisoned or stabbed. I do the cooking, so it's looking like I'm gonna get ventilated. I've watched a lot of Oz. It's prepared me for this moment. Drink, but I snuck mine in, so unless you want a shot of this generic gin, I'm drinking. Look, I think your ass looks delicious. I got to get my dig in your britches. So BTV doesn't go over to our video on demand. It just occurred to me that on video on demand, for no reason in the middle of a meditative type of uplifting song, I'm just talking about how someone's ass looks delicious and I got to get my dick in their britches. I'm not listening to any metal while they're doing this. There have been HR complaints where I just commented about the lyrics of songs that I like. Well, Tom, if you don't want to know what the Misfits said, then why did you ask? I didn't say I was saying that. That's what Glenn Danzig had to say. It's in the lyrics. Okay, so boring, boring, boring. Whole bunch of half double stitches. Not very exciting at all. Not very pouch-like. Okay, last one. Okay, well, that's a good size. Yeah, that'll sleeve in it and just be open, a little bit open at the top. So that'll be a good pouch. All right, so what we've got our row of double half. I have seen so many people make this so complicated, and it does not need to be. So, what we are going to do is, as much as I hate a slip stitch, we're going to look back to that chain stitch that we did, where we did that row of pulling throughs to start them with there. Got that little tail there marking it. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a three-way. We're going to look back into that chain. Oh, look, there's somebody in it. There's somebody already in that chain. Well, ooh, just going to squeeze right on in there. And you never count the first stitch. That's why you always throw the one extra and everything like that. So actually, I can get it. I can get it. Just gonna take me a second. Okay. So this is a normal slip stitch, so it's gonna be a single crochet. I've gone back into the first slot that we had, and that's gonna be our row. That's gonna be our point of weakness when we're making it as well. But we're just gonna pull that through in a single crochet to join those two sides up. Okay. And what we can do is we can also, I've been showing you about how to bury that tail, knock it down and keep it underneath the stitches. We can do that with this. So it'll be nice and smooth looking. But what we're going to do, we've just done that slip stitch back into that same chain. So we're going to gather up, and in one row of these, we're not going for both rows on this because it doesn't have both rows. This is still a chain stitch, it's just occupied. So what we are going to do is we're going to go to that first stitch that we would normally go into and go into it like we got good sense. Oh, wait, didn't gather. Because we're doing a half double crochet stitch. So we are going to slide in, pull out. Oh, and I didn't get it. I said that I was going to try to bury that. I'm going to stick to what I said. So I'm going to Get that tail into position so we can bury it. Doing a couple things at once here. All right, so first we're gonna push through, gather around it, come around to the other side to set up that burial. So we've got that tail going under, and we're just gonna make that half double crochet, right decent, tighten it up. We are off to the races. We're gonna do the same thing all the way down the row. So if we're counting, we would be aiming for the same number, 17. And we're just going on both sides of that crochet stitch. Now just to show you again how that works, is we have got that laid on top. We gather around it. When we pull through, we're working actually right on top of it. So then when we pull through and tighten down, it's stuck underneath there. Sneaky, sneaky. So not really hard to get your head around, but it's a good effect. Excuse me. See, sometimes your tension changes and that tail just wants to shoot straight up in the air. Goes into heat on you. Let me unravel here. So to all of our non-paying customers, the ad ends in 57 seconds. We're gonna fuck with them when they come back. You're a moderator. So that's forming up right decent. And it doesn't seem like we've done anything that drastic, but I'm gonna show you what we got in just a second. Okay, gonna get this as the last stitch on the tail cover. Just slide that right up. Okay. Laheim. Okay, there we go. A little bit of a bris for us there. If you don't know what a bris is, Google that shit. And now it's just half crochets till morning. But this is one of those effects where you don't really fully grasp it until row 2. Because this is row 1. Still row 1. I'll show you why. was right. That was right. Okay, get popped into the last one. Just gonna snag that. Make that real decent. Okay, so it's a little cup. It's like a little trench now. So that's kind of cool. It's a neat effect. But what we've got up next is the good thing. We're going to make a slip stitch over to connect the two sides. And this is going to be the side we do the slip stitch on. This is the end of our row. So I don't use these, but I'm playing along. We've got people with different comfort zones and different experience levels. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate what normal people would do. Got a stitch marker there. Now what it is every time we hit this is when we're ready to do that little slip stitch there. So we're going to have a line going up on the side. To me, that always looks like a defect. I've talked about it before. Whenever I have something where I have to do a slip stitch, I'll kind of muscle it through and then just end up doing a spiral. I'm not doing that for this. This, we're looking for a defined shape. So we've got our slip stitch. Where do we go from here? Well, if you want the number, we're going to go 17 out, turn, go 17 back. Please notice that I didn't say chain. I didn't say raise up. We're just going to go out and then literally turn it around. So, yeah, it's different. And what are we going to do when we get back? Well, you'll have to stay tuned, won't you? Jesus. So impatient. This is why I got out of preaching. Got a 30-minute sermon. No one wants to hear it. Hey, fuck it. It's not the cross anymore. We'll just take half of it off. It's the stick now. Enjoy. Our Father who art in heaven. Just say Dad. You're good. Here's your Bible. This is a Reader's Digest. I know. That's pretty funny. All right. Fuck, I'm talking about. I'm sitting here. I've got the attention span of a weasel on a triple espresso. 2, 3. I've been taking a lot of heat about not counting my stitches and stuff. You know, what do you do if you drop one? Go back. Crochet is the only area where revisionist history is possible. You will actually hear me say the word Service Pro whenever I do that. Not kidding. Go back and look at the video on demand. Service Pro, like it never happened at all. Oh, but you lost an hour. Did I? Did I lose an hour? I know where that hour is. I don't have anything for that hour. So, interesting story. I watched an interview with Cat Williams. It was like 2 hours long. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Do I have anything to show you as a result of me watching that? Nope. Do not. So it's same thing. Doing something I enjoy. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. Have an ad break. There you go. Did it do it? Oh shit. I don't know what that button does then. I thought it ran it ad immediately. I thought that was gonna be hilarious. I was gonna set up a talk show around that button. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Ask the guest their opinion of something and immediately go to an ad. It's called a cliffhanger. I'm a little bit perplexed by something. So, Europe in general, France in particular, they have a good universal healthcare system. Um, so does the UK. It wins awards and stuff. And and I'm led to believe that the European um, medical coverage includes mental sanitation. Good hygiene for your emotional well-being. You can go to a shrink and get all your problems taken care of. So with that in mind, could someone explain to me why Madonna is making NFTs of a tree growing out of her snatch and trying to go out on concert and getting uh, plastic surgery, and I'm the bad guy? Honey, maybe you need to take a break because, I bought your album when I was in high school. Okay, we're coming up on that turn, but what we're going to do for the turn is we are straight up just going to cross the street and go into that next knot and treat it the exact same way. Do a regular half double in there and turn the work. But we're not doing another chain stitch. We're not rising up at all. That's going to be for back here. Okay. Looks a little bit like a banana hammock. But if I was doing the banana hammock, I would need the 9 millimeter crochet hook. If you know what I am saying, I have PTSD. Pretty thick and strong dick. Send complaints to 42792 Chicago. Back when I had a YouTube show, anytime I'd do something like that, I'd actually say an address from memory that I didn't know where it came from. It just, I thought it was riffing. Just, there it was, and it was great. It was the address to send suggestions to the children's TV program Zoom, and it had just stuck with me. Box 350, Boston, Mass. 02134. Send it to Zoom. I always thought Zoom was like, it was on PBS. It was like poor kids Saturday morning TV. There was no cartoons or shit. There was one kid who could do this weird thing with the snapping and the clicking of his hand. I could do that part. I could do what he did. Still can. Then there was this chick who would like sling her arms together and wiggle them back and forth real fast, and it looked like they were doing some kind of meta fusing thing. I still believe she was a mutant. Believe she was a mutant. And then there was just this fat kid that was on there forever. Like I don't remember an episode of Zoom without this kid, and Zoom was like Menudo. So I'm pretty sure that was Vampire Lestat. Or do you have a better explanation? And just riding along the lip here. We are coming to the end of this line. Scoop more on that. You, yeah, let's do that. Just, I don't. Huh. Create a bit stretching in the joint. Okay, so we are back at the start. So what we are going to do here is we are going to slip stitch, and chain two. See how that's coming? Starting to get that rounded shape. And it is not real complicated. Just get there. Pop that in. And make us a half double. There we go. And you can apply this same process, obviously, to any size pouch. This is actually well over engineered for something this size. Okay. But this is where you can get into ridiculous price, and it's really quick, really simple to make. And you won't hear me say that about a lot of projects. This is one you can actually do on a trip while you're on the plane or waiting for your flight or whatever. What have you? This can be the ultimate late present. Made this while I was on the way to your house. Well, I got your present last night. I can beat that. You got some scissors? But you can make these as cozies for eyeglasses. Those get appreciated. One caveat with that is you want something to line it if you're using for eyeglasses, because yarn is abrasive to glass. Um, and I know a lot of people will, well, I've got the scratch resistant glasses. Yes, you do. They are scratch resistant, not scratch proof. I was also going to point out that anyone glasses owner who said something like that would be the first time they had glasses with scratch resistance. Okay. And to cross the street, we are just going to go right into that next stitch as if it's not turning a corner. And that's where I run into some problems sometimes. So let's zone in. Pop there. Yeah, I got both. There we go. And turn. Right in there. Going off because I had to pull it to my chest there. There we go. So it's been all about the project so far. How are y'all doing today? How you doing, Tough Cat? Not gonna make the lurkers do any work. Never understood that. Someone comes in, hi, I'm gonna lurk. Oh, okay, what are you doing? No, 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 bitch. I just said. Ooh. I'm developing my opinions of other crafting endeavors. So far I've only found a couple things that I don't have any respect for, and I'm working on those. Trying to get my head around them. I'm not saying anything out loud. I'm not gonna call anybody's craft out. Come on. Come on. Hi, Diane. Thanks for allowing me into your community. By the way, your endeavor's stupid. Oh, you picked this up in school, did you? What grade? Ooh, I have no idea what that means. Oh, an 8-inch hoop. Okay. Okay, got it, got it, got it. You made a pattern inside of an 8-inch hoop. I can figure these things out. I didn't know if a hoop pattern was a thing, like, Celtic knotwork or some shit. I can't. Oh, earthquake, earth, earthquake. Send donations to Wind Creek Casino. One I made was 6 inches. No, I was 7 1/4. Oh, oh, oh. That's embarrassing for whoever had the six. Because Like, I ain't got a knee banger, but I don't get laughed at in the shower. That's okay. So we're gonna jump in here. Ah, I do not like that when it slips off before the stitch finishes. Okay, gotta lose that one and redo it. Through a dark hill. If I ever stumble across a goodbye note, that bitch gone. It's not even gonna be funny at that point. That shit better never hit a courtroom in anything if she alive still. Do you know what he made me do? Yeah. I didn't make you do anything. I mean, the question is did you want your albums back? Alright, so we're gonna do slip stitch. Chain. And we dive right back in. Cause I'm a bitch. Have you seen this guy? He has not changed at all. Except I didn't realize he was black. Darius Ruther or some shit. I realized he was black. I just thought he was Carlton Black. You know, Carlton from The Fresh Prince. Really? You can't make me feel old with The Fresh Prince, honey. That's because you were bad. Was this before or after you tried to burn down the synagogue? Still writing I'm sorry cards for that shit. Now I just keep her in the living room and let her, dump monitors over and stuff. So the next question of the day is when will Hippie start streaming? So when will Hippie start streaming? Does Hippie want audio? No. Hippie does not want audio. She doesn't want to talk to you. I'm the one who loves you. It's going to be that kind of divorce. That's what I'm saying. Oh, well, I'll teach you. I'll get him all the Transformers. What are you getting, Bobby? 2024 Mazda Miata. He's 5. I know. That's why the insurance is so high. Yeah, we do the Bickerson things a lot, but I adore Hippie. Mainly because if I don't like somebody, okay, what's my modus operandi like? Okay, imagine the most petty bitch you have ever met. That's a good starting point. Want everything bad to happen to you and nobody but you. Incoming ad. It says soon. Um, no, either way, up to you. I'm gonna hydrate. Let's take a look at what we got. You can start to see the pocket forming. It's going to slide right down in there with some give on each side. Oh, it's going to hydrate. It's telling me add 10 seconds, so fair warning. Yes, it is. With the slight difference that when I made your paintbrush pouch, I did buffalo the slip stitch, so it turned into just a constant spiral. I am not doing that with this one on purpose this time. This is the point where it would be really bad if I get raided by somebody. What's Greg crocheting? Nothing. An open face roast beef sandwich. open, open face roast beef sandwich with mayo. Then with mayo. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. Genitals are all bad. All of them are bad. Female genitalia looks like something from Call of Cthulhu. And has dark and mysterious powers that no one understands. Male genitalia just makes you do stupid shit. At least that's my understanding. So the Black Crows had two songs, and one of them was by someone else. So, I mean, they had more songs, but I don't think Blueberry counts as a song. Sounds more like somebody had a big fucking doobie, and then the skinny dude who's on the deep breath in the morning and deep breath in the afternoon diet just decided to say blueberry over and over again. So one thing I'm debating doing is going for the crafting thing for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like, it's not a lot of hours, not a very long show, but it still comes out to 10 hours per week dedicated to crafting. And that still leaves it open to gaming afterward. And again, the schedule time is a minimum. So at least that's the thought going on right now. Open to feedback. I am a little bit concerned that someone will come in, oh, I just want somebody to crochet with me. That'll be nice, and we'll have a moment, and that'll be cool. And they come in, and I'm playing Peppa Pig and telling someone they look like a whore. Although I am listed as a variety streamer, so well, the music's going to be on the gaming streams as well. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And just to give you a little bit of foreshadowing here, once it gets deep enough to the point where what we're making it for can fit inside, we're going to start doing reductions to put a lip in there to keep things inside the bag. So that's the game plan at this point. It's coming along really well, really fast. So every line gives me about a half inch. So like a boyfriend with cocaine, every line gives you about a half inch. Unless he has PTSD. I have PTSD. I gotta quit playing with the soundboard. I keep looking over at it. Not right now. I'm working. That's. I hate this song, and yet I added it to my list. All right. Mhm. And in addition to your point about the music, hippie, I'd also like to point out that I've seen way too many horror movies to believe that anyone will get a heads up from anything. Okay. I actually told somebody about how to make this once, and they were like, "Well, I wouldn't make a good gift for somebody." And I was like, "You got a girlfriend?" It's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, yeah, giving your girlfriend a pocket wouldn't be a good thing." Then I began to explain to him about how he needs to take his girlfriend's stuff down to the tailor and have pockets added to shit. This was a few years back. This is a true story as well. Because I was crocheting at work at the time. And then this little snot-nosed punk, oh, I'm sorry, then this young gentleman starts telling me about this tennis bracelet that he got for his wife, and showed it to me on his phone. as well as made a very big point to let me know that it was $1,100. That stood out in my mind. It was $1,100. So I decided to show him what true power was. Jumped onto the Amazon app and ordered a Holly Farms gift basket. Had it sent to the house. Sent my girlfriend a text on it. Um, the only thing I got back was, "Oh fuck yeah!" He shot his girlfriend his wife a message about the tennis bracelet. She was like, "Oh yes, it's a lovely gift, thank you. Please note the difference." The reason I like Hippie so much is Hippie will dance if you give her food. It's like not even she doesn't dance for the food. It's like she gets so happy. She does like a Scooby Doo, I just got a snack dance. It's the most adorable thing I've ever seen. Very childlike, love it to death. Plus, if I know how to make something that tastes good, I have a chance of getting away with anything in this house. Anything. Give you a prime example. The other night, I'm making fire in the fireplace, and my demons start talking to me, and before I know it, there's fire, just like everywhere because I've like loaded way too much shit into the fireplace, and flames are like leaping out. And out of nowhere, I just hear a hippie behind me. Okay, yeah, everything all right? You just burned stuff to burn stuff, and then the fire alarm goes off. I have to turn that on, leave her in charge of the fire, and then everything turned out fine. But yeah, I don't know why I was telling that story. Oh yeah, yeah. We came up with the phrase "indoor fire" now. Indoor fire. We're sticking to indoor fires when we're inside. And you can use the same pattern or idea or shape for a multitude of things, like a billfold. You go large enough, you could do a purse. Variation on the bag. I will give you one caveat: is there is a weak point across the bottom where the chain stitch gets shared. Oops, no, not where I do that. So it's weak across the bottom where the chain stitch is done because that's all on a single stitch. So that's the weak point right there, and going up the side where we do the slip stitch. So bear that in mind. Not really wanting to overstuff it too much or get it too stretchy with its current setup. While at the same time, if you buffalo it and stop doing the skip stitch and turn it into a big spiral like I do with everything else, then the bottom will be the only weak point on it. And even if that blows out, it's still a sleeve for whatever you made it for. And all of these weak points and everything are theoretical. I've yet to have one blow out on me. Gonna try to do some music videos this week. I haven't done any since Christmas, actually. Been a little bit busy. And I'm gonna be taking a break in just a moment. Gonna get to the end here where I'm ready to do the slip stitch. There we go. That is coming along right decent. And then we just get that slip stitch in there. And it's ready for a chain 2. I made it a little bit too big, but my thought line, I don't know if you remember when I was saying the numbers and saying that I wanted some extra in there. The reason for this is because there's a cable for this, and I'm going to wind it up and put it in this section right here. And then when I put a lip in, by doing some reductions, it'll squeeze the top in tighter. So that's where my squeeze will be. The tightness will be around the closing end. So I'm going to take a quick break, uh, hydrate, get a cigarette, and I will be right back. Yeah, I still got 5 minutes on the break, but I forgot to change it over from the starting soon when I'm what am I supposed to say that I'm doing? It's not embarrassing. I'm masturbating. No, it's not. I'm a human being. Needs. Hey, DB, the original lurker. I am a werebear, so I am both. Don't gender me. Or that would be speciesing me. Speciesization. I'm on break. I feel like that scene in Bad Santa. I'm eating my lunch, lady. Yeah, I'm in a French Union too. They'll throw a bathtub through someone's window and shit. French know how to riot, damn it. Ah, screw it. Who are we kidding? I'm back. Alright. Screw a break, right? So, catching up with chat. Hey, Buana. Hey, DB. Hey, Princess Emmy. Oh, Nike.
Hey, Greg, Thea just subscribed.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, DB. Don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I'm actually gonna get monies out of that. I'm gonna get tacos with that. Yeah, yeah, that's good. Wow. Thank you so much for the sub. Good. Let's hope we're worth it. All right. So just to recap for those who are joining us now, we are making pouch. You can go back on the video on demand, but basically we made a chain stitch. We're got 2 rows of stitches into that chain stitch, acting as one, so it's going around each way and then joining up. Yeah, DB is the no ad lurker. So I'm gonna go ahead and move my. I'm gonna take this off. I don't use it. I was gonna move it up each time. I think people just use that to keep track of where they are when they're counting. I don't count, so fuck it. All right, so we're at the start. We've got the slip stitch in. We're just gonna chain 2. Start in with that half double. Okay, just checking to see if my boss was coming in. Okay, just gonna drop in, get underneath those 2. And I did not gather first because I'm an idiot. So we'll start over again. We've got the chaining 2. Gather 1. And we'll go all the way through all 3 of those for that first half double. That first stitch is the only one that really I find difficult at all. After that, it's just following what's there like we normally do. So let's ad break is in progress, but not for DB and Tough Cat. That's just saying. So I was telling her it's the 21st century. You could sue her. Yeah. Wow, that's quiet as fuck. There we go. I do need to either get something to manage the volume level on these things to adjust them automatically, or I need to go back and adjust the volume on these things manually. I have yet to find a plugin that actually works. All right, DB, enjoy your alert. Why did I switch over to crochet? I don't know. I mean, switch over to break time again. It did it on its own. I swear I didn't hit it. That was weird. I think it's because the timer finally ended. Mute. Uh, F. No, you were doing right. There you go. Work call. Boy, that is a work call too. Oh well. I'll make sure to answer that at 7 in the morning. I'm already at my other job. I am an on-air personality. Baby, this little gold chain, I ain't real cold. Oh, that was weird. I started. Did the same movement. Normal. I'm a savage. I'm really cool. Keep looking at my mic level to see if it's picking up hippie in the background. just constantly working my way back to my chest on that. I've been working on larger projects recently. Working on larger projects recently, so I've been showing my lab mostly, so gotta get used to choking back up on the table. Dr. Worm. Now I'm familiar with They Might Be Giants. I can't say as I know Dr. Worm off the top of my head. Let's find out how I feel about that shit. Um, that's Google. Okay. Okay. Let's listen to that shit together, shall we? We're gonna go in here. Get that. Give it a 7. Give it a 7. Yeah, it's not bad. You can tell you can tell it's a They Might Be Giants song. Um, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. It just doesn't hit me the same way some of their other stuff. Like all of their Flood album was gold to me. Um, but yeah, it's not bad. I'd put it right up there with Birdhouse in Your Soul, or possibly Whistling in the Dark. Whistling in the Dark with the absurdist lyrics a little bit more. So yeah, not bad. Thanks for turning us on to that. I'm gonna go ahead and bookmark that shit. Save that to the secret playlist. Amy giving us the gift of music almost makes up for the fact that she's a sociopath. All right, so where are we? There we go. Let's go to the next song. So am I. How am I getting hung up there? There we go. Don't make me break out the big book of crazy, but you know, in order for me to do that, I'd have to be your therapist, which means there'd be money involved, and I'm just saying I haven't gotten a check. So only thing I can really tell you at this point, Emmy, is the same. He does love selling blow. Well, one of my favorite moments about that diagnosis. That's not the name for the diagnosis anymore, obviously. Um, but yeah, we were watching. Hippie and I were watching a YouTube video together, and it was like, "Oh, top 10 ways to pick out a sociopath." And she just looks over at me and goes, "You don't do number four too often." Just all the way back on my chest now. Sorry. Posture. Yeah, last time I was working with my therapist, it got a little bit uncomfortable. He was he was talking to me and he was like, "Greg, I really think that you've handled a lot of your problems. You've chosen to view things with empathy, and you worry very much about asking too much from people. You've taken steps to be very healthy, and I really think that the only problem that you still have is that you do still have this penchant toward ego and delusions of grandeur." And then I was like, "Well, you have a bachelor's degree and I have a PhD, so you should be calling me doctor, you little fuck." Um, then I got escorted out. Um, something about physical contact. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, it's better than the first time I went to go see a therapist. That was tricky because they were trying to use innocuous tests on me rather than just asking me questions. Like I knew what was wrong with me. Huh. So they gave me a chocolate bunny. I started eating chocolate bunny. I was like, "Hey, that's pretty good." That doesn't seem like something that would happen in a doctor's office, though. So he comes back in, and I'm like, "Hey, that, that chocolate bunny, that was a test, wasn't it?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, it was." And I was like, "Okay, well, go on. What does it mean?" He's like, "Well, if you ate the ears first, then you have a superiority complex. If you eat the feet first, you have an inferiority complex. If you eat the tail first, you have latent homosexual tendencies. If you ate the chest first, we'd be looking for you to have some type of edible alignment or fascination with your mother." I was like, "Well, go on." He's like, "What do you mean go on?" And I was like, "Well, what does it mean when you bite out the eyes and scream, 'Stop staring at me, you little fuck'?" Apparently, it means Thorazine. Or as I like to call it, time travel. Well, our famous blanket that we have, the huge one, yeah, that's officially a time machine. You lay down, we have fluff chairs in the living room instead of furniture. So you lay down on this beanbag chair filled with memory foam, and then you pull this heavy um, alpaca blanket over your ass. All of a sudden, it's 3 hours later, at least. So I have to ask: has everyone seen the Cat Williams interview, or at least parts of it? Oh, oh, ask not for whom the bell tolls, son. Well, why doesn't this guy get more roles in Hollywood? Because he can't read. Oh, okay. Shit. We on? We're on. Service Pro. No, 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 no. Hippie, do you want to open up an Airbnb? Okay. I need to check. What is the maximum on cleaning fees? Well, she left an odor. I can still smell her. Sir, you're a bear. So, $400. I need to pay a maid for 2 weeks to clean that smell. They didn't even show up. I don't care. I want the money. So I don't want to express any controversial opinions. But I was reading about court cases recently. There's this football player named Simpson. I don't know if you've heard of him. Uh, he got accused of killing his wife and a waiter, apparently. That's real bad service, I'm guessing. Um, but apparently it was this big deal. And I looked through it, and the entire time I'm just hit over and over and over again with the same question. Like, at no point in the trial did anyone even entertain the idea that Mark Goldman killed Nicole Simpson and O.J. Simpson. Never came up. Pointed that out to someone. They told me how silly it was, and then I pointed them out that Robert Blake. Uh, does anyone know the story with Robert Blake's wife? Okay, Robert Blake's wife got shot, and they had dinner together. Then they went out to the car, and in that car, someone shot Robert Blake's wife in the head. Now, Robert Blake's alibi was that he went back into the restaurant to get his gun. He forgot his gun. And they were like, no one in the restaurant saw you. And he's like, well, I'm short. Um, That's yeah, that's why I want to be famous. Like killing a person's a rite of passage in Hollywood. Holly Berry mowed down a chick, and then they premiered her as Storm. Apparently, part of her mutant powers involves a you know 2007 Escalade. Caitlyn Jenner. Oh yeah, I'll go there. Straight up murdered a woman with the car. Well. Let's be fair. Bruce Jenner murdered somebody with a car. Then, when they reached out to Bruce Jenner to get a statement, what they got was Caitlyn Jenner in response saying, "This is the new me, and you have to accept it." And everybody started talking about that, and everyone, hey, didn't you? But you parked on this chick. I've decided that most of the news and all entertainment is, hey, look over there. Ad break ends in a minute 20. Fucked up a stitch 2 rows back. And that are because I chained one time too many when I made that. I'd be a lot more worried about it, but it's for me, and I don't care. But I thought I pointed out before anyone else did. Oh, getting so close. Getting so close. So I'm gonna make a, I'm gonna do about, I'm gonna finish this row out, do one more row, do a reduction, and then do some kind of flap for it. Really? Hold on, let me get my head out of the way here. What the fuck is animes? Oh, there it is. Hi. Are you protesting? Are you protesting? You being cute? She's throwing cute at me so that I will stop the oh my. Oh my. Are you trying to entice me? Are you trying to entice me away from the stream? People need to know how to crochet, honey. My people need me. It gets worse when I look away. That's now she's looking over at Hippie. Okay, I'll throw a spoiler at you. Um, yeah, there's a type of treat that we have that she wants really bad. That's her entire currency in this situation. You what? Oh, she wants more. That's what more means. And that's Velma, the famous Velma. I would be stunned if she comes up in my lap. That is not her speed. She'll be right here off cam, looking at me all cute, trying to entice me and get. And if I start petting her, she'll walk away, just like a couple of steps, and then look at me again. And then I'll go toward her and pet her again, and she'll step away, and then eventually we're in front of the treats. I think there's like a magnetic pull there. I'm also going to be setting up a separate cam to track the cats, or show them, or just point at the cat tree when nothing's going on. because I know what puts asses in seats. The talking bear only goes so far. I'm so tempted to just gorilla this. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna blame Emmy for this, but I have a They Might Be Giants song stuck in my head, and it is by definition one of my favorites. So gotta get the earworm out. This is where the party ends. I can. Okay, I feel better now. Now we can get back to the sucking on my titties like you wanted me, calling me all the time. Voltaire? Because I'm evil, Voltaire? Yes. What did I ever do to you? Okay, now I need that one. That's almost human. Man, Emmy is bringing the earworm game tonight. I'm I'm not complaining. Voltaire's involved, I'm happy. Hold on, almost human. There we go. And if you don't know this song, listen to these lyrics. Oh my god, this it's great. Well, maybe it's not for you to like. Emmy bringing the earworm. That's just a statement. If I were a big boy. Sorry? Ah, oh, gotcha. If I. And I'm also going to assume that there's someone listening here that hasn't gotten Voltaire's full library, so I'm going to do Because I'm Evil after this. Or When You're Evil. Almost a human being. Just like you. Oh, we got a raid.
Enchanted Luna just raided with 10 sensation seekers. Love them. Love them,
Luna.
love them.
Luna throwing the raid. Thank you so much, Luna. Hope you had a great stream. If you need to hydrate, do that and stretch and do whatever. But if you feel up to talking, how'd your stream go? What'd you do? Did you want to contribute any content here that I don't have to make? That kind of thing. But no, thank you so much. We are making a pouch today, and we're getting very close to done. This is going to be this was intended as a pouch for an external hard drive. Just to let you know a little bit about the channel, I'm Greg the Grizzly. Behind me is my significant other, Hippie. She's getting her own channel started very soon. We're currently listening to music and crocheting. So, giggity, welcome. One of the standing rules is if anybody asks for a song to get skipped, it gets skipped. If anyone mentions a song that is known to be within toss and I haven't heard of it, we look it up and listen to it and give our verdict on it. So we're doing all kinds of fun things. And yeah, that's where we are. We're currently finishing up Almost Human by Voltaire. And then we're going to probably do Because I'm Evil by Voltaire. And then back to our normal chain with Fuck the Pain Away is the next song there. So normally I'd like to say we're a little crazy here, but every crafting show tells you how crazy they are. But I am a talking bear. That counts for something. Oh yeah, yeah. Emmy evoked Voltaire, so we're doing a couple of those. And oh my goodness, so much good stuff going on. Hope everybody's having a great day. Let me get that out. And there is one thing that I am required by law to mention to everybody, and it's a federal law, I believe. I am not scared of you. Okay, so with that being the case, let's go ahead and finish up. All right. Was that right? No. I was about to drop a stitch. If I got all excited about the ray. Okay. Human, look at me, I'm almost a human being. I'm only human, look at me, I'm almost a human being. Ah! Hey, Supreme Doom. Luna Raid, but I'm working against... Oh, wait. In your own time. In your own time. You are royalty, young lady. Me. Ah, no. There we go. Okay. I love Voltaire so much. So much. It's right up there like with Master of the House from Les Mis. The world stops when that comes up. Um, okay, so just to bring everybody up to speed, there's a little pouch that we're making just to get the general concept down. If anybody wants to build this, I'd strongly recommend checking out the VOD. We cover the bottom very quickly, and that's the only place where there's any secret sauce in it. We're doing half double crochet throughout with a slip stitch going down this side. So with the slip stitch area, this is a weak point and this is a weak point structurally, but we're not going to be putting it through any heavy duty work. Now we've just finished up our last regular row. So what we're doing now is we're going to do a row of reductions to give us a little bit of a lip here so it'll close up around it, because size-wise we are there. And with the function of it, just to show you the benefits of having the custom, we're going to have another line that's going to sort of intentionally close it up and another flap coming over the top to protect it. But we've left a little gap here when we were customizing the space. So now I can coil up that cord for it and just put it right in here, la-di-da. So I'm going to go ahead and get to that. Let's go ahead. Uh, there we go. This is going to be so good. I'm going to sing with this. I'm going to apologize in advance. I can't help it. And for that reduction, we're doing one, uh, we're, we're, we're putting 2 loops in every third one. So it's 1, 1, and then double loop, 1, 1, double loop. We've got 1 in already. That's a bit too much. Hey, call on me by name you see, for my special touch. Ladies, I'm surprised. Call on me by any name. Anyway, it's all the same. I do it all because I'm evil, and I do it all for free. Pain I'll ever need. And it's so easy when you're evil. I do it all because I'm evil, and I do it all for free. Your tears are all the pain I'll ever need. Pledge my allegiance to all things past, and I, on my damned soul, do as I said happily. There we go. We didn't have a drama program when I went to school, so. Oh, okay. No, 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 no. Okay. Gonna do fuck the pay. Yeah, I have to go back to the BTV playlist now, unless anyone has any requests, because I think it's quite important that everyone knows that they have the options of sucking on my titties like you wanted me, calling me all the time, like check out my prissy behind is fine all the time, like sex on the beaches. Well, if anything strikes your mind, just let us know. Got that ad break kicking in. It should end in a minute and 22. The hilarious part is Hippie's like 1 second behind, so I'm getting, huh, what, right, Okay. Okay, so we are in there. Got a little bit of a lip. I'm gonna come about a couple rows up on one side only, just going back and forth like normal. It is a little bit fluffy, but you know, it doesn't get real fluffy until I bust out my 9. Cause you know, this is the fluffy machine. It's 9 millimeter. Which, hold on, gotta do it. Had it, had it. Oh, I love that joke. Anyway, so yeah, for really fluffy, I go for the 9 millimeter. Right now, we're using a 6. So it's nice and soft. I'm using it to protect a external hard drive. So the fluffiness is definitely a feature. Okay, now since we're going to be doing a flap, I want to cover a lot of ground. So I'm going to switch to doing a double crochet. Switch to showing it too. So, and this can the same pattern and mentality can work for a purse or any kind of bag. The big payout for this one is, and again, we're going to do the video on demand. We're going to publish that and have that out there. This is the initial chain that we went on after we got the first row on it, and we just turned. We went into that same chain row and went in again from the other side. So there's 2 rows going into that chain forming a V, and that's what we built off of. That's the tricky part. Aside from that, it's just about, you know, remembering where that slip stitch goes and which side is which. There we go. We were born sick, heard them say. Amen. I do not have a high enough voice to do that. I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, my no voice doesn't normally sound like a cat in a blender, but and one thing that I have been getting ready for the next project, which is going to be a larger one, whenever I have random scraps, I will craft them into a blanket with no purpose, just to store them. So I went ahead and re-skeened all of those. So now I have a large ball with every color you can imagine at random intervals, and I'm going to use that for what I do next. So I know what I do, I know what I'm gonna do, I just don't know how many of them I'm gonna be able to crank out with the amount of yarn I have, and I don't know where they're gonna live, so I may need some help from chat with that. So I am not opposed to the idea of doing a giveaway, um, and just shipping things over. Now, a lot of our followers are from Europe or Canada. So in cases like that, we would be taking the hit on the postage, but you know what? Fucking worth it. But I will give you a spoiler on what it is, just to help everybody out. Anyone want to guess what crochet hook we're going to be using? Is it? It's like the Sword of Destiny. So here's the funny story with this. This is my favorite hook. So much so, I keep saying it's a 9mm. If we look really close, Greg, that says it's 8mm. You're lying. You're a liar. You're a lying person. You're speaking foo. No, no. I destroyed the handle on this thing. It literally came apart in my hand. I used it that much. And when I pulled it out, this is just a metal piece. I jerked the handle off the 8mm one and jammed it in there. I don't have an 8mm one right now. That's my level of dedication for that. Now, if that doesn't sound like I'm really obsessing with it, I don't floss. Can't be bothered. So doing all that shit, yeah, yeah. I'm the kind of guy who, if I look down when I'm using the bathroom and I see my underwear's on backwards, I don't fix it. Just going with it. Yeah, the rubber piece handle is from an 8mm, but the 9 is there. So um, I don't know why it would ever come up, but if anyone from the government shows up and asks, it's an 8mm, and the 9 got lost in a fishing accident. I don't know. Thought we had the right to arm bears. Arm bears. Oh, I'm just all the way in my chest with this now. You're like, hey, imagine what I'm doing, huh? Ha ha! Crafting channel. What's going on now? You don't know. I'm so bad at this. Leading me to believe that Greg is either terrible himself or bad. Okay. Okay, and since we're doing a double crochet, we're gonna chain 3, yank, and I'm off string again. Okay, so we've got the flap going over the top now. As soon as I finish this one, I'm going to do one more row of double crochet, and then I'm going to do another row of half double to give it a nice firm ending. That'll give me a little bit of a lip on the yarn itself because it'll have that double strand going into the mix there. The thing that just makes me sick about all these people with crocheting channels, all they do is fucking scarves all the time. Fucking scarves. Here's a scarf. Scarf. How many scarves do you need? Scarf. Scarf all the time. Fucking scarves. So Friday we'll be making a scarf. Look, I'm original and I'm funny. The problem is the parts that are funny are not that goddamn original, and the parts that are original are not funny at all. Okay, so now we're going to be doing a row of half doubles. We're doing half doubles, so we're chaining 2 in preparation for it. Yes, and Goddess, I've been crocheting forever, and my rule of thumb is I always do rectangles, blankets, scarves. Yeah, I don't crochet because I like doing crafts. I I crochet because it's illegal for me to murder my neighbors. Because it's a lot easier for me to sit here. Well, that motherfucker needs to turn his stereo down than than to go over and make sure that my neighbor loses his lease and possibly the use of one eye. All that talking, I just did a double crochet. So I undid that. Service Pro, like it never happened at all. We are going to go for the half doubles to do the end ish. Yeah, anytime I try a new stitch, I'm slower than my cousin Ronnie. It's look at it, look at the steps, look at it, look at the steps, look at it, look at the steps. Start to do the stitch, then stop, then look at the steps, then look at the picture, and then look at the steps. I think I like crochet better than I like sex. Not gonna lie. No, after the last thing I said that about was comedy and making people laugh. I really like comedy more than I like sex. I can tell you that right now. I've just got a better experience with it. Like like anytime after I get done telling jokes, women are always like, "You were great. You were wonderful. You were great." And then every time after sex, it's like, "You were funny." After I tell jokes, I'm like, "Hey, I brightened your day. I've made your day better. I feel good about myself. Got a little bit of a boost." I don't know. Every time after sex, it's just like, "Was this worth $300?" What are the rules? It's a thing. It's a thing. I don't claim to understand it. Didn't we just get Take Me to Church? No, we got the female version of Take Me to Church. Close enough. Oh, who's this handsome fella? Oh, that's chloroform girl. We'll skip that one. I'm trying to make a good impression. I'll let this one play even though the obvious problem. We have Canadians in chat. They've never actually apologized for Brian Adams. I love Brian Adams too, but you got to understand, I don't even have taste in my mouth. Okay, I he's just an easy target. I'm sorry. All right, no, 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 no. I am not going to start an international incident over this. I'm going to go ahead and make some things perfectly clear. Okay, I can make fun of Brian Adams because I paid an extra $20 on my cable package every month in the '90s to get Much Music. I fucking love that. Hey, Shipwreck. I loved Much Music. I laughed, I cried, it became a part of me. It was the only he did a duet with Sporty Spice that was awesome. Never saw it anywhere else. Never saw it anywhere else. Much Music was the shit. And the best thing that you're gonna make me pull up a window. I'm gonna try to finish this and then get the window pulled up to show you. But Much Music had the best commercials ever. There was a clown that was just dancing seductively while holding the logo of Much Music while you heard just the voice that what's going on here? What's this? And I loved it so much. Ed the Sock, yeah, Ed the Sock. I thought Ed the Sock was a bit derivative of the Sifl and Ollie show from MTV, but Much Music was the shit. I oh, that's kind of nice. All right, so what we are going to do is we are going to snip that, and we're going to pull that through so that it doesn't negate anything. We can come back and tie that off. So what we have now is a customized pouch. We measured it, figured out what the measurement needed. Let me get the cable for that. I will be right back. Now, if I had used a smaller hook, it would be tighter and therefore look a little bit more uniform, but I like the fuzzy look and the fluffy. This is about a quarter of an inch thick as well, so if it drops, it's fine. Just gonna wind up the cord really quick to make sure I got the space consideration correct. And I did. All right, so that's what I got. Now the next step I have is I'm going to actually just make a tie to go through here, just a couple pieces of thread, and I'm going to sew a button here to wrap around it. Fortunately, I have toys. Woot. So this is all my non-direct crochet stuff goes underneath here. Buttons and nickety necks and all that stuff. So we are going to go with the same color yarn for the dangly down. Oh, where'd Brian go? Yeah, but everybody did, didn't they? I, I I'm sorry. If you're Canadian, there's like a law you have to, right? He's probably working on one about the Queen now. She's royal, she's female, she's dead. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm going roughly to the center. Let me start over with that. So I'm finding the center three. I'm going to go through that one. And of the center three, I'm going to go through the two outside ones. And then back in through the middle one. I can get my hands working with me today. So I got a cute little envelope kind of effect going on. I'm going by memory. I don't remember if my plastic needle can go through these buttons. I don't think it can. And if it can't, I do not feel like digging out my metal one. So let's find out. It cannot. All right, so this is too big. I will have to do this later, but what I'm going to do is I've got these cute little buttons that just say handmade on them. Okay. And I can just sew that right here. And then once that's sewn into place, it just becomes a little thing of wrapping around little pieces of yarn. Hide this flyer, and we buried the flyer down here. We weaved it into the actual base, so we don't have a loose thread there. So this one is it. Everything else is intentional. So that is officially done. So in 3 hours, well, technically 2 hours and 50 minutes, we came up with the idea. We measured it. We did all this together. We did the math on it. We made decisions on what we wanted to do. And then we put that into action after making a gauge. Um, so, yeah, with everybody who's here, I think that it's okay for me to start talking about one plan that I have, which is I live in an area where we have winter now. I used to live in the Bay Area of California. Um, the problem that I ran into that I've alluded to a few times is I have one neck. I personally have 6 scarves. Hippie has 4 hats and 2 scarves that I know of by memory. I've made a scarf for every member of my team at work, literally. Um, so that being said, one of my problems is not necessarily what everybody else has as a problem. I have a lot of yarn. We bought it wholesale. hippie is the connection for yarn. I cannot. I like to take credit for the idea of buying a wholesale and making the connections, but yeah, hippie is my connection for yarn. I get tons, so the yarn's not a problem. Crochet hooks are a dime a dozen, so that's not a problem. I've got time. That's not a problem. The problem is I need to know where things are going to go, and I'm thinking seriously about having something where I set up while I'm working on a larger project that we gain some type of entries, either based on subscriptions, bit cheers. I haven't worked it out yet, but the thought being that once that item gets done, we hold a drawing and we find out who it's going to get, who's going to get it. Then I reach out to that person and send it to them, totally gratis. I don't feel comfortable with a Ko-fi page yet. Um, so that would be where I'm leaning toward. And yes, Hippie is my yarn dealer. I will not say anything else. I am trying to talk her into starting to make orders again on a regular basis because I'm down to like 6 crates of yarn, which doesn't sound like a shortage, but I've had like tons of yarn forever. Um, so I'll keep everybody in the loop on that. Also, to make sure everybody knows, Hippie's computer arrived. Um, yeah, rain on you. Good job. Hippie's computer arrived, so she is going to be streaming something soon, and I don't even know what. Um, I'm kind of in my lane for gaming, talking, and doing crochet. That's pretty much that's my tricks. Unless anybody wants to watch me edit videos, which is stupid. Um, or like when I'm making the videos, like all these look great behind the scenes. Okay, I'm making faces at the camera like a nonverbal person who wants ice cream. That's how that translates into this. If you notice, the movement on the mouth is much better on the videos, and that is because I'm over enunciating rather than talking. If I'm just talking, it doesn't go as well. So, not a lot of stuff that I can put out there. She has every talent. We're talking knitting. Uh, she may be offering a watercolor painting. She has just about everything that I've ever seen. So, yeah, just a lot of good stuff happening. Stock advice? No. Oh, okay. I will tell you why I will not do stock advice. It's because I was supposed to have all the money. See, there's this thing called cryptocurrency, and what cryptocurrency did was broke me from sucking eggs on giving people investment advice. I lost. I lost everything. Oh my God. Helium specifically. Ad break in progress. Ad break ends in 1 minute and 25 seconds. So it says. No, but I went in heavy on helium, and yeah, it did not turn out well for me. I think helium is worth what, $2 now? I don't either. Well, no, I didn't make a mistake. I did not make a mistake. I'll stand behind that statement till the end of time. I did not make a mistake with my cryptocurrency. The problem was they built the cryptocurrency on another coin as a stable coin instead of a dollar, which is a good step to do. The problem is that stable coin was not stable and lied about how much money they had. So when it went, everything went. Happens. Happens. I don't have an estimate that the way it was going by every estimate that we had, if Luna Coin hadn't dropped, and again, Luna Coin, nothing about our lovely Luna. Um, if Luna Coin hadn't dropped, I would be in the high eight figures right now. So I'm not, and that's okay. I just, have to wait longer for my dream of walking up to Brad Pitt and telling him to take a bath. I'm fairly certain Brad Pitt has not bathed since Legends of the Fall. It's my theory. Anyway, we are very excited about her new computer. I've gotten the sound worked out with a lot of our kinks, and now it's just mostly a matter of me adjusting things behind the scenes while it's playing because they all have different audio levels. Um, so we've got this project taken care of. I still have a little bit of time on the clock. So I'm going to reach out and look at doing a little bit on my baby blanket. So this is my time filler one that I've been doing lately. Get adjusted here. So what this is it's going to be a 30 by 30 baby blanket. Using my what is it, 5? Yeah, 5. I'm using my 5 millimeter hook on it. Um, I've got the first 10 inches done in ivory, and then I've got to change over to navy blue. And that's where we are with this right now. This is literally just all double stitch. So at this point, we're done with the instructional, and now we're just hanging out. And I'm going to be super nice to Supreme Doom, hoping that she'll send me some 222s. And anyone who doesn't know what do-do-dos are, oh my God, they're your for 222s, yes, ma'am. Yeah, they get Tylenol with codeine over the counter, people. Um, you can you can get like a 5. Oh no, wait. You have elicited the holy one. Okay, so we talked a little bit about Gur while we were over in your stream. I'm going to share with everybody what is over our mantle right now. Um, yes, this is me flexing. Ladies and gentlemen, not kidding at all. That is a picture of what is above my mantle. So I need to explain a couple things here. Let me get it adjusted. That happens to me sometimes. So I had this made. Um, the whole thing that we have in our household about supporting artists is something that goes way back with us. I had an artist paint that on wood. Um, so you've got Gur. That's actually the bloody picture that the rumor is that that's why Invader Zim got canceled, was because of that picture in the credit sequence. Um, there's a shelf underneath it holding a metal rose that was a gift to us from Tough Cat way back when. Tough Cat is our friend in real life. And underneath that is just a set of red glasses that she gave us because my favorite colors are red and black. Um, so yeah, but we actually have like an altar to Gur in our house, and we have absolutely no problem admitting that it's an altar to Gur. Because after all, what what does Gur stand for? I don't know. I love him so much. I love him. Okay, let's stop that. I gotta quit bragging now, or else I'm. Yeah, the 222s in Canada. That is what I saw when. Okay, so funny story. Funny story. And this is not going to be believable at all, but I'm going to promise everyone here, this is not a bit. This is true. I was a professional fighter at one point. I have a second degree black belt in jiu-jitsu, and this is before MMA was a thing. This is when UFC was new. I was doing something that we called shoot fighting. And they called it that because you'd shoot to the ground. And I was very good at the time, but that was because no one knew what jiu-jitsu was. Everybody was doing karate because, again, MMA wasn't even a concept for anybody. The closest that we had to MMA at that point, calling itself MMA, was a system out of Long Beach, California, called Raw, Real American Wrestling. Um, so I had an agent, and they'd set me up with matches, and they told me, "Hey, how do you feel about going international?" I said, "I feel great about going international. Yeah, let's go some international fights." I'm thinking Japan, thinking South Korea, thinking some areas where, and they go like, "No, it's London. You're gonna go to London." No, no, the Raw is that's actually a different thing. But yeah, the Raw for WWF WWE is actually just a brand name. This was an acronym. Real American Wrestling was a dojo type setup and a promotion, but it sort of failed when UFC made rules. Well, made specific rules because there were rules at the time. But anyway, I digress. My agent, who was terrible, um, he liked communicating through snail mail, and he would not write very much. So he told me that I was going to go to London to fight, and I was stoked. Yeah, London, Ontario. Supreme Doom's one step ahead of me there. Yeah. I was outside of the United States for like 15 minutes. We didn't even stay overnight. I got shots. I thought I was going somewhere. Oh, I was so mad. But I had a professional fight. I won. Um, I met a very nice gentleman. His name was Keith Hackney, and he and I became friends. And he hit me so hard. He hit me in the chest, and I saw stars. So, um, I told him that I was going to have to go to the doctor and get a prescription. And he looked at me and he's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Oh, because I need to get some Tylenol with codeine." He's like, "They don't sell that to you." And we went to just this like regular CVS type grocery store, and there's a for like $12. I got a 5-gallon bucket of of painkiller with codeine. Um, oh, oh, I was so happy. Oh God, what was his name? Tommy. He told me his name. So all of a sudden it turns into history lesson time, and he starts. I think the guy's name was Tommy Donovan. No, no, Tommy Donovan's a friend of mine. I'm gonna need to look it up. But he told me about the guy in Canada's history who just went, "Hey, um, let's pay for healthcare," and the guy's like a national hero in Canada. And I was like, "Why don't we know this?" You know, they don't want to let us. No, no, he hit me in what we call the penis. Um, so Keith Hackney studied White Tiger Kempo, and he has two famous moments, and both are in the UFC. His first was in UFC one. Um, I'm gonna say some things, and these are my opinions. Um, Yeah, I'm gonna say these are my opinions, not statements of fact, as I know them and can prove them. UFC 1 was started by the Gracies, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. There was actually a lot of rules involved with it. No small joint locks, you can't lock fingers, can't lock wrists, um, no cavity punches, no nerve strikes, stuff like that. So then they started, and the matches were not random. They were tanking people by making them fight certain people. And Keith Hackney, they put him against Emmanuel Yarborough, who does sumo, and there was no weight limit. So it's like the Canadian guy who does striking who could actually do something. They're like, hey, why don't you fight the 500-pound guy? Keith Hackney broke his arm on that dude. With Canadian with a fighter. That might be that might be him. I'm not sure. I didn't keep up with a lot of the press and the interviews after I got out of it because, yeah, I it calls to you. It calls to you. I love attention, and that was attention incarnate. But yeah, his second thing that he's famous for, and you can look these up on YouTube, by the way. These are things. Um, I'm trying to remember what UFC number it was, but he fought a guy named Joe San. Now, Joe San was hanging around as a trainer when I was there. He was training this kid named Chemo, and Chemo beat up Hoist Gracie real bad. So the next time they came out, Joe San said, "I'm gonna fight," and they put him in against Keith Hackney. There were no rules regarding hitting below the belt, so during their match, Keith Hackney got put into a headlock and dragged to the ground, and he didn't have much of a ground game. So he spent 10 minutes just punching this dude into wee wee. And White Tiger Kempo is a striking art. It's about delivering a lot of power in very short range. So it's like it's in his wheelhouse. This is what he's good at. And you can just watch that on YouTube sometime, and oh, oh, it's so bad. So bad. So I transitioned from shoot fighting to professional wrestling because that would be safer. And then I decided that my gimmick in the local wrestling federation where I made no money was that I would have a mannerism change when I took a chair to the head. I am not a smart man. Yeah, so yeah, CTEFGHIJK. But the gimmick was fun, and I will tell you right now, I can explain why any professional wrestler in the pro wrestling thing, the predetermined wrestling, why they never leave, is because that is the biggest drug you will ever have in your life. If you have an entire group of people just yelling that, just cheering for you or hating you, it's the crowd pop is everything. The crowd pop is deranged. I was a bad guy, and my personal best was I had an old lady throw her walker at me. Like the walker she actively used to get to her seat. For me, yeah, it was heels. I was a heel. Heels and babies. Technically, I was a tweener. Um, I was random. So my original gimmick was Frenzy. Well, my original permanent gimmick. I paid my dues as Mudrick Ulysses Drucker. Came in with my name is Mud. Um, and my gimmick was that I didn't take damage from getting hit in the head. I had a problem with the head thing. Starting to think a lot of this was my fault. Then my gimmick was Frenzy, which is I was in a tag team, and the gimmick was that if I got hit in the head, yeah, babyface. I always just call them babies. Um, if I got hit in the head, then I would go ballistic and attack the person nearest to me. So that left itself open for rudimentary drama. And then after I went a little bit more heelish, I went under the name Pariah. Um, and the only two things that I was missing from the wrestling world was talent and skill. I can do real fighting. Don't get me wrong. Um, if you want me to make it look good, not actually do anything, I'm terrible. I'm too worried about hurting the other person. Well, no, no, no. Usually, I would attack the referee. Um, we had it built into the storyline. But I did some really incredible mic work with that, and yeah, every time I'd start to go like, "This is stupid. I don't want to do this anymore," the March of Dimes would ask us to go visit the local hospital. And I would go to the local hospital and we'd talk to the kids. And these kids were, you could just talk to them and tell they knew it was fake. They knew it was predetermined. They knew it wasn't real. But they had bought into it. They were invested in it and they were happy to see us. And the one that I talk about to this day was going through chemo, and he just did not like me at all because I was a bad guy. I was a bad guy at that time. I was picking fights with good guys, and yeah, he was just absolutely certain that he was going to come out of chemo. He was going to beef up, and he was going to, as he put it, whoop my ass. I loved that boy so much. The puny guys. My thing was I was a tweener, so I wasn't quite a good guy. I wasn't quite a bad guy. But the guy that I worked the most with for the storylines and everything was my best friend at the time. And in all of our extracurricular activities, we would hang out together. So, it'd be 2 in the morning and we'd be talking about how the storyline should go. And we would talk to the promoter about it because the promoter makes all the decisions about this kind of thing. Um, so we'd pitch it to him and sell it. And that's why a lot of times we were working with each other. He was a baby face. We were in a group called Anarchy Incorporated. He was Riot. I was Frenzy, and there was a third guy named Carnage. And when I got bounced out of the group, it was because I had hit a referee and hurt his neck really bad, supposedly. And this was supposedly my tag team partner's dad. And then that got into us, and then it got personal, and yeah. Well, I'm gonna be honest. If we're talking about pro wrestling, where payment is a real good thing. I got a tryout for ECW, but again, I was not good. I was terrible. Um, and they were quick to point that out, rightly so. But I had a really good gimmick, and I would work a lot of the kids' matches. When you start working, not only do you not get amateur pro wrestling. That's a good way to put it. Because when you first start for like the first 6 months, not only do you not get paid, you have to show up early and set up the ring. I always thought it was funny, and of course they try to break you um, when you're going through the training process. When they're teaching you to take a bump and do arm drags and everything, they will work you to death on that and try to make you quit. And all I could think about at the time was, dude, I went to Ranger school. You've got nothing. This is, oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make you run the ropes for a half an hour. Okay, you're gonna make me be in the swamp while I do that? I'm fine with that. But yeah, your average person in the local wrestling set gets paid between $20 and $100. for what you see them do. Because of the way my storyline took off, and the mic work that I did, I got more than that, but I deserved less because I did not have skill. My, my performance was not visually, um, impacted. It was believable, very believable. It looked real. Like, I know what it looks like when I really do these things, that's real. The only thing that I had that anyone seemed to like in the way of original moves was, we called it a double code red, and it was basically I just put you in an arm bar at the same time as my partner would, and we had a fancy way of getting into that situation. But everything else was just like, that wouldn't do anything. I think I laughed for a half an hour when they taught me how to do the figure four, because I'm familiar with grapevine grappling with your legs, and the figure four is terrible. It's actually more dangerous for the person putting it on. It's a bad move. Yeah, yeah, it does. It's terrible. But again, I'd also like to point out to you that if you watch MMA, if you get someone in a lock or a joint lock or a hold that's actively a submission hold, there's not going to be a 30-second check. You know, hey, are you good to go? Is it okay? No, 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 no. You scream and tap. It, uh, it was so hard for me. Actually, I will say this: I found professional wrestling harder than real fighting. Oh god, the crab, the camel clutch. Um, there's a rest move that I actually hated more than anything else to be on the receiving end called the stump puller, and it's meant to be a rest move, and I'm too tall to be in it. I'm 6'2", and if I was in the ring with someone who's less than 6'2", and they went for a stump puller, they're actually compressing my head down. I'm all like this, and it's just not good. But, yeah, it was something that I did, and, one of the main reasons that I got involved with things like that, well, I got involved with, professional fighting for the money, because $500 per fight was a lot back then. Uh, but I want to make sure that everyone understands, it wasn't a sport type thing like it is now. There was no clinics for it, no one knew what MMA was, no one knew what shoot fighting was. Fundamentally, I would go to parking lots and people would bet on the outcome. In a lot of cases. Sometimes dojos or wrestling schools would have things set up for shoot fights, but not very often. I think the most I ever got for a shoot fight without betting on myself, yeah, was I think $3,000, and that was because they were absolutely sure the other dude was going to win because he knew Krav Maga, but he did not know how to get out of a 4-second choke. Anyway, no, but that's all the past. I was about 24 when I decided, hey, um, these things aren't good for me. And actually, the catalyst for it was a woman that I worked with. I worked at a retail place called Circuit City, and they had a call-in support line for computers called Answer City. And they actually had a Answer City set up. Um, they had it set up for all things that you could purchase at Circuit City at the time. So if you needed help with anything, you could just call Circuit City to get help. And if it had to go to the manufacturer to find out what was going on, they'd call on your behalf. It was pretty cool. But I worked there. I made like it was like 94, 94, 95, somewhere in there. And I was making right around I started at 9 and change, which was good for back then, and in short order I started making up to $14 an hour. And there was a girl that worked with me. She was very tall, very athletic. Um, I found her attractive. So I talked to her a lot. She did not smoke, but she'd come out in the smoking area to talk to me. And I was very curious about her. She was taller than most women I'd ever seen. And it turned out that she played for the Richmond Rage, which was the WNBA team in Richmond, Virginia at the time. And that's where Circuit City was based out of. And I felt really honored to meet her, and I went into like, "Oh, that's really interesting," and she just got really surly about it. And then she pointed out that Circuit City, working for Answer City, paid twice as much as her contract for the Richmond Rage, and the Richmond Rage did not give her any kind of insurance or signing bonuses. So there's no money in the WNBA. And I don't know why, but that just sort of gave me a reality check to look at the way everything is actually boiling down. Oh, that's great. I'm making all this money with the fighting and the fake wrestling and everything. How much of that am I spending on medical stuff after it's over? Oh, all of it. That's why I'm not making any money. So I decided to become normal at that point, and that's when I went back to college, where I proceeded to be Rodney Dangerfield and back to school. However, I was still young enough to the point where I looked young, and oh my God, I cannot believe this. And frat boys still pick on people. Frat boys still pick fights with people today, or at least they did when I went. Oh, that was hilarious. Guy who played football for University of Richmond lost his scholarship because he wanted to talk to me for a second. Ozone, which was a bar, and I didn't know him. He just wanted to flex on somebody, and to quote Indiana Jones in the Lost Crusade, "You chose poorly." I don't know. I have a different mentality about fighting. I don't equate fighting with aggression. In jujitsu, it's just you do it. You know, when I was your age, I'd get hit in the head with a cinder block, and I liked it. But anyway, that's not the type of reminiscing I usually do in the craft channel. I'm a civilized bear. One other thing that happened when I was doing the local wrestling circuit, though, that really made me sad was in the independent wrestling circuit, there were guys in there who were as old as I am now, like 54. They were in their mid 50s, and not gonna lie, they 100% believed they were going to be pro. They thought that the WWE was going to draft them, was going to see them at some match and just offer them a contract. So, stark reality. And what made it worse was because I was good at talking on the mic, I was getting a push and they weren't. I was getting heat. God, what's a regular word for it? I was getting a lot of attention and I was getting a lot of mobility, and I did not deserve it. Yeah, yeah, she's not here right now. I'm trying to talk Hippie into the idea of like maybe using her connections to make regular orders for yarn and maybe have that be something she does as well, to make available. But I don't want to, not telling stories out of class or anything, but that would be awesome. Huh? No, I'm more talking to you. I'm streaming. Of course you heard my name. I always talk about you. Pull your britches up. Yeah, after talking with Princess Emily about it, Emmy a little bit about it, I'm open to trying other crafts that I'm not necessarily good at, but I don't know. There are some that I know I'll be able to do one. Like with what I've seen Supreme Doom doing recently with the making the cards and the stamping and everything. If I went out and got the equipment for it, I could see myself maybe making somewhere between 1 and 5 cards. Everything after that would just turn into, next, because I know what kind of Neanderthal I am. I'm a straight up Luddite at times, and I do not deserve love in some fields. Just saying. Where is it? Ah, moved it over there. Oh. But you see, that's the thing. All right. So the reason that I get really interested in everybody's craft streams, this is gonna sound hilarious. The one type of craft stream that I have absolutely no interest in is crochet. None. No interest in it. Um, at all. At all. I can do it. I know it. If I want to get ideas for stuff, I look at patterns. I don't need that camaraderie for that kind of thing. I like other people doing other stuff I don't know how to do, and I get obsessed over things I don't understand. Like the memory books are my latest thing. How do you pronounce your name? The cat jumping up every 5 seconds. Hippie. It's the one you watch, Smudgecraft. Squooge. Squidgecraft. Okay. She makes memory books, and some of her memory books have like multiple pockets and fancy things where you pull over here, it opens over there. It's just really intricate. And yeah, I could not do that. So I usually end up watching a lot of her stream, watch a lot of Supreme Doom, because I I can't do anything on paper without an undo option. That's if I can't control Z my way out of it, I'm not going in. That includes this stuff here. Like, I don't know if anyone's noticed. Okay, let's say I made a mistake back here and just noticed it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Now you may not think that's too good of a trick, but I'm going to make a challenge now. Go get some ink, put it on a piece of parchment paper, and undo it. Or if you want to role play as me, get a bunch of parchment paper, get the ink on your fingerprints, and then make several cards that would identify you to the FBI at any time. That was my scrap blanket. We hadn't been using it for years. It's been in existence for a while. She's making me sound like Pugsley Adams and shit. Greg, have you seen the blanket? That's not how it works. Uh, I'm gonna hold on. And yeah, we're still looking at when I'm going to start incorporate relaying the Sith code as it actually is to everybody. To those playing along at home, I am a Sith Lord. Um, yeah, got a holocron, and you don't. So, yay! Let me check something really quick. There we go. And just to make sure we don't run into any like hip hop type beefs or anything, I go to all of your streams and take notes and and yeah, stealing all your ideas because I'm an American and that's what we do. With you, your contest more than anything else. Um, the rating contest that you have with the 1 of 52 cards, um, that stood out to me as really weird, and I thought it was a problem, and I was trying to figure out more about it. So I made a note on that one to double check on it later. Then after somebody, won it, I realized what it was for. I didn't realize that it was for a card that you would make after the fact, like a custom card. Hey, Darsh. Well, no, again, I rated you when you were on day 4 of a 4-day train. So, I'm not gonna say it's your anybody's fault. No one messed up. Um, but no, I thought it was just a stock card that you had in place, and you were really upset about people not being able to win, and when I realized it was a custom card, I was like, "Oh, okay, I see how that works. Okay, that makes sense." I also critique everybody's layout. Um, like, I do mine from scratch by hand, um, and it has some hidden things in it, like there's a Fibonacci sequence in my scene that most people can't pick up on, but it's let me get my mouse working. From the tagline that shares the evil inside and the 9mm girl that's dancing right now. That's small. Going to her right is larger with BTV. Going up is larger with the explanation, and then going to the left is the largest. So it makes almost a spiral. I really like your use of honeycomb shapes. Yeah, that was one of the things that I'd realized with the notes. What I was thinking I would do in that situation, Supreme Doom, is just pull up random dice and have them tell you when to hit it. And then, like when they say now in the chat window, you just roll those dice, and that can be the delimiting factor. But that way, it also gives it more of like a drum roll kind of effect, I think. More pomp and circumstance. But yeah, I research everybody's streams. The most common things is to point out how crazy your stream is. Um, Technical issues, that's a big one. Um, a webcam of your cat individually, or encouraging your cat either consciously or unconsciously to interrupt your stream. Not that I do any of those things yet. Uh, what we currently have is I'm setting up a webcam to catch the cats, and Fred will organically, whenever she decides to crawl up in my lap. Ah, gotcha. See, I don't know Dr. Steele. I'll have to give that one a listen offline and then add that one to the list. Like, I'm absolutely certain that They Might Be Giants wouldn't violate toss. Well, you can get a fake cat. Hold on. Hold on, Supreme Doom. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. You hiring? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the raid. Pick a goddamn card. I want the job. I want the job. I'm willing to hook up hands for this. Oh my god, that would be hilarious. Let me get back to my normal form. I'm a waste of cocaine. Well, that was just a random one. The one that we actually use to represent Fred has a hat. Where? We have not used her in a while. A long while. Yeah, I'm not seeing the one for Fred. I have 2 installs of animes. I think she's in the other one. Yeah, my favorite character once I get the voice modulator working, um, is Gale. Gale is Greg's sister, and that was going to be more important in an ARG that I was going to run initially before I started getting into crafting on stream. But she's a drunk, and yeah, Hippie came home and I was practicing with her, and I had the leap unit set up so she had hands, so everything was like, okay, wait, let me. I do drunk very well. I'm worried that I may have accidentally deleted Fred's avatar and may need to recreate that. That bothers me a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, the joy of having two installs. I'm fairly certain that it's in the other install. I was fighting the clock when I came in, so I sort of slid in sideways. I bet you she didn't. And after this, I get to make dinner. So I am uber domesticated. I was actually planning on wrapping at 8, but okay. There we go. I think we might want to go ahead and wrap things up. I'm going to go ahead and take a look and see if I can find someone to raid. And just a couple reminders. Hippie has a new computer, so be on the lookout for her. Uh, we still like to have more people in here. Always want more people, so tell a friend. If you like the show, tell a friend. If you don't like the show, tell us and bring a weapon so I feel better about it. Um, but yeah, and then next time we'll be playing, we will be featuring multicolor yarn. I've let it slip that I'm going to be making scarves, and it's already been established that straight from the Mythoscope, baby. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take a quick look and see who's on, and see about getting us another crafty stream to jump into. This will take me just a moment, maybe a couple moments if I'm feeling incompetent. But okay, we'll jump over onto Merle Cause. Not sure exactly what they're doing at this point, but we'll go over and join them and do it with them.